I'm Chantel, and I believe that healthy eating doesn't have to mean boring. Let's make some cabbage rolls. For this recipe, I have some diced onions, tomato paste, seasonings, garlic, chopped mushrooms, white quinoa, and some cabbage. In my medium pot, I have some broth going for my white quinoa. This is 1 cup of quinoa that I washed, and we're going to put it into 2 cups of no chicken broth. And we're going to let this get covered and cook for 15 minutes. While my quinoa is going, I just want to quickly show you how I remove my cabbage leaves from the cabbage ball. So I cut off the bottom part, and this method is a method of patience for sure, because we don't want to rip the leaf. We kind of want to keep it whole so we're able to fill it and roll it. So what I do is I gently roll back the leaves from the top of the cabbage just to loosen it up a bit, and then I flip it under to the bottom side and kind of stick my finger through the bottom to loosen up what is close to the root of the cabbage. And I just slowly move around the whole leaf, trying not to break it until it kind of loosens up, and you'll feel it. You can kind of shimmy it a little bit, and then it comes right off. If you have an easier way to do this, let me know. And you will probably end up having to cut down a little bit more of the base as you go. I brought my cabbage leaves over to the stove, and in this pot I have some boiling water. And what I'm gonna do is gently drop the leaves into this water, and we're going to let them sit for about 2 to 3 minutes so that they are soft and we're able to roll them properly. As I take them out, they are going to be a little floppy, which is what we want. So I just take it out and transfer it to a different plate and let it cool down. One of the other best indicators to show that your cabbage is softened enough is that it will change color. I don't know if you could see that bright green color, but that means it's done. The cabbage leaves are now all cooked up and ready to go, so we're going to leave it off to the side so that it cools down while we work on our filling. To a preheated, ungreased pan, I'm adding in some diced mushrooms. Diced mushrooms work great as a ground meat substitute, because typically this recipe would call for, say, like a ground pork or a ground beef. So chopped mushrooms is definitely a great substitute for that. And if you are looking for any other ways to substitute in a more plant-based way, you could hit the link in my description for my plant-based substitution guide. It's a cheat sheet that gives you all you need to know about how to substitute certain foods. I'm letting these mushrooms cook down for 2 to 3 minutes because they naturally have moisture in them, and I want that to cook out a bit before adding the rest of my ingredients. I removed the mushrooms from the pan, and now I'm going to go in with some olive oil, and we're going to put in our diced onions and saute this up until it has softened. I'm adding in some diced garlic now, ensuring not to burn it because garlic does not taste good. While I saute up my onions and garlic, I also have some store-bought tomato sauce going in the back. We're just heating that through. Up next is some tomato paste. I'm going to put that right in, and we're just going to let this kind of just evenly coat the onions and garlic. This tomato paste and onion mixture cooked for about 2 to 3 minutes, and now I'm going to take the mushrooms and put it back into this pot with the liquid as well. And I'm going to season it with this blend, and in here I have some salt, white pepper, smoked paprika, sage, oregano, thyme, onion powder, and garlic powder. And I'm going to mix this together and let a little bit of the liquid cook out. The mushroom liquid evaporated now. I'm going to take the quinoa that I made earlier. I just want to show you guys what it looks like. It looks like this, and then I just take a fork and fluff it up. And we're going to dump this right into our mushroom mixture. At this point, I'm going to turn off the heat, and we are going to gently just fold the mushrooms and the quinoa together. Once everything is incorporated, it's going to look something like this. And now we're going to move over to our workstation to do some assembling. Now would be the perfect time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have my assembly ready. So we have our cabbage that we cooked earlier, our sauce that we heated up, our quinoa and mushroom mixture, and also our baking dish that we're going to bake the cabbage rolls in. I'm going to be putting on some gloves because we are going to be hand rolling these cabbage rolls. And I'm also going to take my pre-made sauce and we're going to put a little bit of it at the bottom of our baking dish and just spread that out. And an even layer. And now we're going to roll. So in order to do that, we're going to take our cabbage leaf and we're going to lay it out on our cutting board. And then I'm going to use an ice cream scoop to fill the cabbage. Because this is a small leaf, it's probably not going to be as much to put in there. And I like to put it at the base part of the cabbage leaf, so that's like where the harder stem is, or the thicker stem. And then you just spread it out. And then I personally fold the sides in first, then the bottom over, and then just make sure everything is continuing to stay tucked. And then we just roll and keep rolling. And then you have your cabbage roll. And we're gonna put that into our baking dish. And honestly, just keep doing that until everything runs out. If you have some broken cabbage leaves like this one, it's just fine. We just kind of switch up the direction that we're going in. And then you just put in your filling. And then do the same thing, except we're going to try to tuck all of the broken pieces to the best of our abilities. And then still roll it just the same. After we finish our labor of love, which is rolling up these cabbage rolls, we're going to take the remainder of our tomato sauce and just base the top of the cabbage rolls with it. And we are going to cover this with some foil paper and bake it in our 350 degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. My cabbage rolls are out of the oven, so we get to move on to my favorite part of these episodes, which is the plating. To plate, I'm going to take some extra sauce and I'm gonna put it in the middle and kind of just like move it around until it gets to like a circular shape, just so that it's aesthetically pleasing. Then I'm going to use a fish spatula because it is bendy and it can get under the roll properly. And I'm going to lift my cabbage roll gently and move it onto our plate. We're gonna get another one. And then we're going to garnish it with some shredded spinach leaves just for extra color. And there you have it, my cabbage rolls. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to get your free plant-based substitution guide in the description below. And remember, healthy does not mean boring. See you next time.